I get off work. I'm like, all right, goodbye, Cause for Claws. Nice knowing you. Leave the parking lot, break snap. I'm like, well, that's fitting. And then I still drove it home. My name is Kit Pines, and I am a singer-songwriter in Bismarck, North Dakota. My first car was a red Plymouth New Yorker, some kind of 90s model, like an early 90s Plymouth
A New Yorker, huh?
Yeah.
Those are kind of cool. My mom had a New Yorker.
It was sick. Yeah, and like all red interior. That thing was pretty cool.
Comfortable, too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I had it when it was my sister's car, actually, and then she went to college, and then I had it, but I only had my permit, so I couldn't actually drive it. So I would just, like, sit in it and then drive it around when I wasn't supposed to be honest. I would go out to the lake and stuff. Got in trouble a couple times. Cops harassed me, and then my parents made me sell it because I got in trouble too much.
That sucks. How long did you have it for?
Oh gosh, it was less than a year for sure. But that thing was cool. I tried to buy it back from the guy we sold it to because it was just small town, you know. We were living in Center at that point, and it was long gone. It was long gone. I couldn't get that baby back. It felt so cool to drive it around before I had a license, though. It was more fun for some reason, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just being like 16, just like riffing around on the roads.
Do you want a car that handles like a sports car, or one that handles 6 people comfortably? Do you want to feel the road, or do you want a smooth, comfortable ride? 214 horses, or dual airbags? Introducing a car that proves you can have everything. The Chrysler New Yorker. The American luxury car is now in the fast lane.
Yeah, I mostly just like sat in it, pretended to be cool. It had stuff that was wrong with it, so that's when I first started getting into like YouTube University, you know, to like pop the hood and see what I could do. And I didn't get too much done, to be honest. But the last time I really took it out before my parents made me sell it, you know, they sold it really. But I took it out to Lake Nelson outside of Center, and I was just sitting in it, you know, smoking cigarettes, being too young. I was like reading a book or something. No, yeah, I was reading Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
And I was sitting out there, and then the sheriff rolled up. He already knew me. He rolled up, and he was like, Sarah, you gotta get out of here. He checked my paperwork. I had nothing. Had my permit. Parents had to come get me. And then it was goodbye to the New Yorker after that.
Oh, wow.
Which is a bummer, but I mean, I had fun with it while I had it.
How do you get into music? Why? Where? When?
So no one in my family really is a musician. I didn't grow up around it too much. But my uncle, who's married in on my dad's side, he always played guitar and played in bands. And so from when I was really young, he was strumming around, showing me songs. I grew up in a pretty, like, evangelical household, you know.
Oh,
so
really?
We didn't get a lot of secular music. And, you know, he mostly, like, Neil Young was a huge one. He showed me, like, Neil Young, Bob Dylan, a bunch of, like, the folk heroes, and, like, would slowly kind of, like, teach me songs. I'd sing along. And then when I was 13, I went out to live with them for a little while because I was just, you know, I was a bad kid. I was a bad kid in a small town, so it was like you either get sent away somewhere or like you go live with the aunt uncle for a minute. And so I did that in Chicago when I was 13, and they sent me to guitar lessons at this academy, which I did only for like 3 months, I think. I mean, but that's when I really started learning. I just kind of picked it up from there, learned the basic chords, and just rock with it. Learned a lot of Beatles right away, like everyone does. Go through the roster. And then, yeah, just kind of like fell into the music scene from there. Yeah, like I said, I grew up in Beulah, so I got to know like those guys, and then through that, kind of found the Bismarck scene. That was when a lot of shows were going on at the Mysteria in Mandan.
Okay.
When it was
so
one
this is
beater.
probably around 2010, before, later?
Oh, it was later. Yeah, for sure. Like probably like 2012, 2013.
Okay. Yeah.
Something like that. I have a real bad time perception, but I'm pretty sure that'd be like 2012 by the time we were like actually coming to shows around here. But yeah, I mean, there were some people that made music back then. I had a friend that we would just like jam in her garage. She'd play drums and I'd play guitar really obnoxiously. Her parents were like, "You're so great." And then I look back on videos and I'm like, oh God.
I know how that is too. Yeah.
Just hammering bar chords, sounding like ass.
That's punk rock though.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I look back and I'm like, I'm proud of her. I'm proud of that little kid, but also I'm like, you know,
Right,
you can't
right.
help but cringe a little bit.
No, I look back at almost anything I've done and I cringe. I don't know why. I can't.
It's
not.
good to keep yourself humble. Keep yourself humble.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just kind of like fell into the music scene a little bit, which I'm grateful for because, again, like, I feel like that time when I was 13 was really pivotal because, you know, I was hanging out with, like, bad crowds, running around, hanging out at the skate park, being a shit kid, and it was really, like, music that kind of shifted that completely, was just getting into the scene and getting to know people around here. When I started, I mean, I kind of had, like, the garage band situation with my friend Liz in Beulah. I did a lot of solo performing, though. Later on, I got into some bands once I moved to Bismarck and was kind of doing my thing for a minute. I was in the Spicy Boys for a while, which was really fun. It was me and my friend Dylan Bender, Jordan Dittis, and Garfuka. And that was a fun one. That was probably like 2017, 2018. We were called the Spicy Boys because we would eat hot peppers and then go on stage and just like cry and be like sweating, like can't breathe, playing punk music.
Yeah.
That was a really good one. That was really fun. And then I went by Burt Goop for most of my early days, and I had a group with Riley and Dylan Bender for that, which was kind of like Burt Goop full band.
Where does that name come from?
It was just a dumb name I came up with when I was a kid. I liked it, and I wanted to do it for, like, a band, but it never panned out. And then, well, I just started dropping music on Bandcamp, like, on whims, really.
Mm-hmm. Just recording yourself?
Yep, totally.
Cool.
It was all garbage because I recorded it on a Chromebook. Most of the time I didn't have a microphone, so I would record into my phone mic or like, directly into the laptop microphone. Sounded like garbage, but like it was fun. It was fun to do. I did a lot of recording on tape. Yeah, it was a lot of just like on a whim, just for the sake of it, music. I made a bunch of synth music and stuff too, under some different names. Yeah, I mean, Burt Goop doesn't really have a lot of rhyme or reason to it, other than it felt memorable and it just resonated in the moment, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt very, like, androgynous, which felt good to me. Being a lady in the music scene's a weird thing sometimes with being taken seriously. So if you trick people by having a weird name, they might listen to your music, take you more seriously, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, in the sense of cars, at that point, I was driving I think it was a Honda Odyssey. I am pretty sure that I had just kind of, like, ended up inheriting from my parents. That one was actually funny because I worked at Cause for Claws down on South 12th for a little while. I've been a thrift store worker for a minute. And the very last day Cause for Claws was open, the brakes went out on that van. And, like, as I'm leaving the parking lot, because I was broke. I didn't have money to fix anything. And I was like, I'll get him fixed. Mm-hmm. But they were like, at the end of the rope. Spot. Yep. Like every stoplight, you're squeaking and everyone's looking at you and you're like, turn up the music a little bit more. Don't look at me. But the very last day Cause for Claws was open because they ended up shutting down. I get off work. I'm like, all right, goodbye, Cause for Claws. Nice knowing you. Leave the parking lot. Brake snap. I'm like, well, that's fitting. And then I still drove it home. And I ended up, God, what did I do with that? because it was kind of on its last legs at that point anyways. I think I ended up bringing it to the scrapyard, which is tragic to look back on. Ended up getting some other junker.
The
God,
Honda
it's a weird
Odyssey,
timeline.
that was in the new Deadpool movie. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it.
okay.
I think I've only seen the first one.
They joke about it. He shits on it for a bit, and then after they drive it and fuck with it, then he's like, the Honda Odyssey fucks hard. I was like, hell yeah.
It does though.
That's awesome. I had my brakes go out too. I was
Yeah.
kind of in the same place. The guy I got it from, a friend, was like, it was squealing. I didn't know crap about cars, still don't. And he told me it's not the brakes. It was something else. I said, okay. I keep going with it. One day it gets towed. I park it in the wrong spot. I get it out of the shop and I drive it home and the brakes go out, like completely out. Mm-hmm. And I had to come to a very slow stop and I had to throw it in park. I'm just fucking this car up doing this because I need to get it to a spot where I can work on it. So I'll go a little bit, very slow, and if I need to stop, I throw it in park. And I come around where I'm close to where I'm going now. It is in winter, by the way. To get there, I kind of have to go down a hill.
Oh God.
Yeah. And then I'm like, fuck. I just had to turn into a snowbank and just hit that hard.
Oh.
We got it out, we pulled it out, and then just pulled it the rest of the way
Oh, God.
to where I was at. But
Yep.
it was spooky and it was really stupid on my end.
Yeah. You lived.
I look back on that time, I'm like, I can't believe I did that. Just driving it and then throwing it in park right away. Car didn't last much longer after that, for sure.
Yeah. No, I get that. God, when I was younger, I was so dumb and just like beat things into the ground. But I mean, the things that were already like almost broken to begin with, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like barely hanging on and then continued the cycle of just scraping metal on metal. Oh my goodness. Yeah. After that one, God, because I was trying to think about it before I came over here, and I can't remember what kind of car it was. You know those little neons? You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like it was something like that, like a real crappy, like 95 something neon, barely held together. I know that my friend Garv got it from some people that were just like traveling through town.
Was the paint completely chipping? For some reason, neons did that. I don't know if it was shitty paint, but after a few
Or
years,
just
every
has, like,
neon I saw.
big scraps out of it. God, I don't even know if it was something like in that vein though. I
Sure.
should know what it was, but I did not have it for that long, and I can't even think of what it was. But I just needed something, and my friend got it from some people. I forget what happened. I feel like he traded a guitar for it. Like, it was a weird situation of how he got that car. It just got like abandoned in town by some travelers that were coming through that he became friends with.
Cool.
They were here for like 2 days, and then they were like, goodbye, car. And we were like, goodbye, everybody. It was weird. And then I ended up buying it from him for like $100 or something.
That's a good
Just
deal.
cheap as dirt. I had that for a minute, and I moved out to, oh God, no, I sold it before I moved to Portland. But I was dating a guy out in Portland at the time, and I drove it back and forth from here to there,
Oh, really?
maybe like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Don't know how I did it. That thing was a piece of junk. Don't know how it survived. Had no cruise control, had no heat, missing all the amenities, but the wheels worked. And I remember driving it out there and like camping at truck stops and just like curling up in the back, parking amongst all the truckers and being like, I'll be good. I'll just hide in here.
Right,
Keep
sure.
driving in the morning. I think that ended up breaking down, and I sold it before I actually moved out there. God, no, that was a weird one. That was a weird car. God.
How was Portland? How long were you there for?
I was only there for like 8 months.
Yeah.
Because relationship didn't work out. I was going to end up staying out there. It was kind of a weird moment of like, I was working a bunch of weird jobs out there, just trying to make it work. I did some cool jobs, actually, and some terrible jobs. But yeah, the relationship was not working out, and I was going to either end up moving into this art house with a friend I had met through work named Sonia, just like a cool artist, really talented lady. She had offered me a room. But then my friend Sonda was in California at the time, and she was like, dude, I actually need someone to watch my place while I'm gone. And it just so happened that my friend Cody was up in Portland working, and he was like, I can drive you back. And I was like, let's go. So I loaded up everything I could fit into his tiny car, just this little, again, don't know what kind of car it was, don't remember that, but little tiny guy. He was a fan of Bugs, so it was like kind of similar to a Bug, but it wasn't quite.
Bugs, the vehicle.
Yeah, totally.
Like, okay.
Very non-specific answer, but loaded everything into his vehicle and then got back in like January of 2020. And then I'm sitting there like, okay, what are we going to do now? We got to do something. And I was making plans, and then COVID hit. You know, everyone has that moment. Mm-hmm. And ended up moving back in with my parents in Center for a minute. Just like kind of waited out COVID, and then got a place in town. That's a really quick time lapse of everything, but it's just weird looking back now because it's been so many years, you know.
Yeah.
And like having just stuck around. But it all happened as it should have, you know. I feel like I'm in a pretty good position now. Portland was good though because I did make a lot of friends. Went to a lot of open mics and just like made, you know, like artistic connections and stuff. One of the better jobs I worked in Portland that was also just really chaotic was working at a like Asian fusion restaurant really close to where I lived. It was small and family owned, and they stuck me in being a dishwasher, and I was like, all right, I'll do it. Hell yeah, pay me money. Pay me money, I'll work it.
Yeah.
I'll be a gross little dishwasher girl. And really quickly they put me in the kitchen, and I was working with this Argentinian guy named Fidel, and he only spoke Spanish, and he was trying to teach me everything, but we're like speaking in like hand signals, you know, because he can't speak English and I can't speak Spanish. And it worked out really well, honestly. We had a great way of communicating. We'd be in the basement prepping, and he'd be showing me stuff, and I'd be like, yeah. And then I'd do it wrong, and he'd be like, no. And then come in, like, fix it. That was good. And then they ended up taking me out of the kitchen because they wanted me to be a server. And then at one point I was serving and teaching some 18-year-old kid how to work in the kitchen because he didn't have the same language that me and Fidel did.
Yeah.
It was just weird. It was weird. But also it was a good, like, you know those jobs where you, like, really kick into your fight or flight and you're like, okay, we're just going to survive. We're just going to get through this. Yeah. That was a good one for tuning that, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. Came back to North Dakota and been a thrift store worker ever since.
I gotta say, I've always wanted to work in a thrift store. There's a few jobs that I kind of always wanted and never got. To work in a video rental place, a music store,
totally,
or a thrift store. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I never got to work in either, and I find all of them fascinating. Especially a thrift store, because so much weird stuff comes in. I've been shopping at a thrift store since high school. Yep,
totally.
Everything I would wear, except for socks and underwear, were from a thrift store.
Yeah, no, so the one I've been at now, because I worked there before I moved to Portland, and then I came back, ended up working at the same one. So in total, I've been there for like 7 years, and there is an insane amount of... It's just, I don't even, like, it's just thinking about the amount of stuff that exists in the world is really mind-boggling. Mm-hmm. You see so much stuff come through, and there's cool stuff. There's also garbage.
Yeah, I've been a lot of garbage shows.
A lot of garbage. Yeah. A lot of just like Hobby Lobby, Live, Laugh, Love stuff come through. Oh. You see all the trends fade out and they get donated.
Right, yeah.
Right now we're getting a lot of Stanley Cups. That's a fun one.
Really?
That's a fun one. You see things like cycle out, and then we get them and we're like, we can mark this up. Silly.
That is one thing that bugs me about thrift stores too, is finding something cool, but they'll jack up the price.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a thrift store. Come on.
Totally. Well, I mean, honestly, like I'm one of the people you don't like then because I price collectibles at the thrift store.
Yeah.
And it is true that like we get them donated for free, you know? So like Yeah, I try to keep things cheap because like that's what's fun. That is, it's fun to walk in and be like, holy shit, $5? That's great. Like it's so fun to see someone's day just like made. But also like we're a nonprofit and we got kids to feed. So if I can make some money, then I will.
So how much is also going under your shirt, in your jacket, or just home with you?
Oh God!
At the end of the day,
that's okay. See, I've been there for long enough that I'm like, it's a great skill to have to be able to say that's neat, and then just walk away. And just go that was sure cool. Take a lot of pictures of stuff. Take inspiration from things. I'm a crafter. I like doing like sewing and like painting and collaging. So I'll save some things. I am a sucker for like vintage goodies. So sometimes I got to pry something out of my hands. Yeah, because I want people to find cool stuff.
Right,
that's
of course.
like the best thing about the thrift store. I definitely have bought some cool stuff and taken it home, but I try to be careful about that one because it's a fine line. Fine line, man.
I had friends who worked at a thrift store too. They were bringing shit home all the time. Yeah.
No, I know. I've seen. And maybe when I first, like my first couple of years, I was like excited and like, whoa, I can just get whatever I want. And then you're like, nah, that's like,
I suppose. I mean, technically you're not supposed to, but I mean,
it hits a point of like,
I
there's
don't
too much
need
stuff
all this
in the world.
crap.
There's too much stuff in the world. And it's also just like overwhelming, like visual overwhelm of like, you see, especially in the summer, things really kick into gear when people are like having garage sales and spring cleaning.
Oh, yeah. And then everything they don't sell at the rummage sale, they're just going to dump off with you guys.
Totally.
And I'm sure people also don't wait for specific days, drop-off times and whatnot. They just throw it in the back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just visual overwhelm of like stuff is insane. It's totally insane.
You ever find like cash in pockets and stuff like that?
I don't have a lot of interest in shoving my hands in pockets. I'm gonna be so honest with you. If someone finds that, good for them. But I've been there too long. I don't have a lot of interest in digging through people's pockets.
Is there a moment when you put a hand in a pocket and you're like, oh, not again?
God. There's not too many of those, honestly, because again, I know better. That's none of my business. What's going on in that? None of my business. I don't really work with like the clothing and stuff, to be honest. So I just avoid it as much as I can. There has been times where like, really early on working there was a time that there were some work boots that got donated, and they looked almost brand new, but like in an old way. Like someone bought them 20 years ago and never opened them.
Oh, weird, yeah.
And inside the box was just like so much cash, an insane amount of money. And I just threw it at my manager. I was like, I want nothing to do with this, man. This is up to y'all what you do with it. I want nothing. Nothing to do with this box. And I think it did end up being considered like a donation to the store because,
of course,
if you can't track down the person, what do you do? Like you just have a box of cash that got dropped off. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
God dang. I used to put money in my winter coat at the end, and then the next winter I would find it and be like, "Oh yeah, $5, cool."
Thanks,
and then I caught
me.
on to myself. I couldn't trick myself anymore.
Yeah, shit. Yeah.
And then there was a point where I would always just kind of check my coats and other pockets looking for money. Thinking, did I leave some? No.
Just scrounge.
So do you still thrift yourself?
I mean, sometimes if there's something I need, I might look for it. Again, it's mostly going to be like projects, crafting that I'm really aiming for.
So what do you do?
I'm kind of at a point where I'm just like sick of stuff. I don't know. Yeah, just like at my own place, I'm like, I don't want to see it.
Yeah,
I don't want to see it. It's kind of a weird place to be.
What kind
I
of
guess.
crafting do you do?
Mostly like sewing. I really like sewing, painting.
For yourself, or is this something you resell?
I usually just do it for fun, for gifts. Even with music, honestly, I have a hard time with like trying to make it. I'm a bad businesswoman. I'm gonna be honest with you. Very bad businesswoman. I have a really hard time with any of the stuff I enjoy of like monetizing it somehow, because I'm afraid that I'm not going to like it anymore. I'm
Yeah.
afraid that like the thing that brings me so much joy is suddenly going to be like, oh, you know, with my sewing, I just make a lot of random stuff. And I've been making like patches and things like that.
Cool.
And I've done some as gifts, and like I've done some stuff for bands, but like, I don't know, I try to be careful with it just because I feel like once I have like a project that I'm supposed to be doing, I'm just gonna drag
Once it becomes
ass.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a very selfish thing to think, honestly. But like, it's just nice to have joy. It's nice to have those little things that you can just like kind of sink yourself into and have fun with.
No, I totally understand. It gets like that with music too.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I've been in bands where it's really fun. Somebody can really just suck the joy out of it, and then it's just work and no fun.
But also, like, I see where that is valuable and important.
Of
like,
course.
I've seen people be so successful and do so great, and props to you. I respect it so much. But yeah, bad businesswoman. I just like singing little songs, and you know, I even look back and I'm like, if I'd put in like a little bit more sweat, maybe I'd be doing different things. But I don't know. It's fun to do it for the joy of it, you know, and for like the community aspect and like friends and stuff like that. It's really just to be happy. That's the main goal really for me.
Yeah, I had Geiger on the other day. We kind of talked about that, like how we've made friends for life in the music scene.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that I think has been the most important product that's come out of this for me.
No,
I
mean,
hope that's
yeah.
the same for you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's why I'm like here at all, like in town. It's like, this is the place that like really, the people here, you know, like raised me up and believed in me when I was a kid. And I'm like, I just want to give back to that as much as I can, you know.
Yeah, your name has popped up a lot too when I talk with other musicians.
That's funny.
And yeah, so I'm like, oh, I got to get her on so we can just sit back and BS for a bit. When do you become Kit Pines?
That was that was 2023. I kind of switched over. I don't know. I just hit like a wall after COVID for sure, where there was like 2 years that I just didn't do anything, had no inspiration, just total blank. It was like physically painful of not being able to do anything, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I just started practicing more with like different stuff. Because again, I was doing a lot more like, you know, it was kind of freak folky, but it was like weird punk stuff and like synth things. But my styles just kind of changed, and the name didn't feel like it was resonating with me. And yeah, then that name just kind of popped in my head, and I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to just rebrand it, release a whole different project, even though it was kind of, you know, it had waves of what I used to do in it. There wasn't a whole lot of reasoning other than like my guts were just screaming at me of like, here's what you're doing. You gotta send this.
Well, you got to listen to your gut.
Yeah, totally. Sometimes my gut's right. Every once in a while.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's wrong.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, that's not a gut feeling. That's diarrhea.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
That's because you made bad choices. That's what your gut's saying. No, it's... I feel like it still resonates with me as a stage name or whatever. I think I have a hard time navigating it, because even still, like, I'll be doing, like, music networking or like like meeting musicians for the first time and new people, and then I'll still introduce myself as Sarah instead of Kit Pines, and it's like, what am I doing? What even is the point of this? But I don't know. It's still it's rolling, I guess.
You have anything on the horizon?
I've been doing kind of some recordings on my own, just like at home recordings, just kind of trying to write and also just like learn more. Because I feel a little bit like with the singer-songwriter thing, just kind of like I'm just churning the same wheel over and over. And so I'm like, okay, I need to take a minute and just learn. And so mostly I've just been working on like my chops, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just literally my playing and just trying to let that mature a little bit more, I guess, now that I'm getting older. I mean, I'm only 27, but like still, it's
I know,
been...
getting older, yeah.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were,
yeah.
like earlier when we were talking, I was like, yeah, I started doing concerts in 98. And you're like, well, I was born in 97.
yeah.
Thanks.
What a dick thing to say. God, Sarah, God.
No, that was funny. No, I get that. I kind of wish I did that too. Like, worked on myself, my skills a little bit. I was more one of these who would just kind of jump in.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It didn't always work out. And that's why I look back and I find myself cringing at some of my past work. Mm-hmm. Because I was too excited to wait and hone anything in. It was, okay, this is good, let's do it.
Oh, I did the same thing. But also, that's so fun in the moment. Like, it's just, like, absolutely thrilling to just swan dive headfirst.
Yes, we would record ourselves and then say, okay, put that on CD.
Yep.
We'll listen to it in the car on the
Totally.
way back. And we're like, man, that rocks. This is awesome.
Yep.
Let's just copy this and give it out to the people because they're going to want this right away, you know?
Yep.
And no, it was trash.
No, but, like, creating for the sake of creating is phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Definitely taught me a lot, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I get that. I had to mess up a lot to learn. But I don't regret it. I don't regret it, you know, because I did a similar thing with, I mean, just releasing on Bandcamp, really. I would just release all the time and just on a whim record it, shove it out there.
Have you done
Barely
anything like
mix
physical media?
I should. I did a lot of, like, tapes and stuff when I was younger that I made. And that was really fun. I would like to do more of that.
Which is funny. I've been out of the scene for a bit, and now I'm seeing tapes come back.
Oh, yeah, totally. A lot of people
I
do
think
them.
Savage was in here. I think he said he's done some tapes. And
Yep.
somebody else. I'm like, God, that's such a easy form of media to recreate. I guess CDs are too. Actually, probably easier. Who has cassette players anymore, you know?
I mean, tapes are so cheap.
Yeah.
You know, they're cheap to buy, they're cheap to sell. You know, I feel like they're a really accessible format. And they sound cool, you know, until they get all melty, then that's hard. But they sound great. There are, I feel like I know a lot of people that have cassette players. But even, I was saying it earlier to you, but like with all the ones I have, the belts go out and the motors stop working.
Right.
And fixing them is just such a pain. It's such a pain. But no, I've seen a lot of people have tapes. It's a really, really accessible format. And just recording onto it, they sound great. They sound awesome.
Do you see that come through the thrift store often?
Tapes?
Yeah, or cassette players.
Yeah. You know, to be fair, by the time they get to us, they need some TLC. You know, a lot of people buy them for parts, especially at the thrift store too. A lot of people come and buy stuff like that just to gut it.
Oh,
for sure.
right,
For
yeah.
sure. So even if it doesn't work, we mark that sucker $5 and let people just
Find out themselves.
Yeah. Totally. I've taken an L on a couple of those because I see it and I'm like, oh, I could totally use this. You take it home, doesn't work, and then it's either YouTube University or you redonate it. So,
man.
you know.
Now I want to go thrifting. What's your favorite thrift store in town?
Oh gosh. Oh. See, I really like the what is it? The one in Mandan. Is it Aid?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Aid is good.
It was, at least.
No, they always have really good stuff. They always have like vintage, like really old vintage dresses for really cheap. I'm a sucker for those, honestly. And then what's the one? It's new-ish. I think it's on like Broadway or something. Teen Challenge, and do you know what I'm
Haven't
talking
been there.
about? It's a weird one because it's just shoved full of stuff. And I think that some people might get kind of overwhelmed by that. But I see it and I'm like, you just got to take a little time.
Yeah,
I
right.
found some good stuff there for sure.
Kind of fun to dig.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because I do it for work, I'm kind of like, do I have to? But also, you know, you kind of like can zone in a little bit and be like, oh, there's something there. I know there is. But also, I mean, to be honest, because I work there, I don't really just kind of over it a little bit. Unless there's something I need, I tend not to really go out and go thrifting anymore. Garage sales are fun. This is the time of year for it. It's fun to like stop every once in a while and see if they have something, but I don't know. Kind of over it a little bit.
Yep, right on.
A lot of stuff in the world.
What was your first concert like?
Oh, I think that my first concert was one that my aunt and uncle took me to, and I'm pretty sure oh God, my brain. Because I know that we went and saw Three Dog Night at some point, but that wasn't the first one. They Might Be Giants.
Oh,
I'm pretty certain it was They Might Be Giants, because they had like a couple kids albums, you know, and my aunt and uncle would just like play those on repeat.
Were you 1 year old?
I was pretty young. I think I was like 5 or 6 going to that concert.
Yeah, I feel like that was a 90s band. Maybe not, though.
I think they're still making music, but I mean, yeah, they kind of were. And then getting older and kind of looking into them more. Like, I'm not like a huge fan of them. If anything, their music just kind of feels nostalgic because I've heard a lot of it as a kid.
Right.
I don't know the lead singer's name, but he's interesting because starting that band, I know he had a goal of writing like a song every single day, no matter what. Like, whether it was total garbage or not, just write a song every day. And I think I unintentionally took that to heart a little bit, just because I kind of do a similar thing without even thinking about it. Just kind of like, just get one out there.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was a cool first concert, though. They had, like, a confetti cannon. I remember being a kid and being like, you can do that? That's good. I think my first, like, big concert, though, was Five Finger Death Punch.
Okay.
As, like, a
Probably in Bismarck, right?
14-year-old. Oh, yeah.
I think they've been here a few times.
Yep. I think they've come back in a minute. I'm not really a big fan of them, you know, but it was a cool first concert, you know. It was cool to go to that. A lot of people.
Mine was Kiss.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah. One of their many last tours.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's like their thing. Them and Motley Crue. It's this is the
This
last
is the
one.
last one, yeah.
Yeah.
See you next year.
You better roll out. Yeah. Wow, that's funny.
How about yourself, though? When you first start playing, what's that like?
I mean, a lot of it was just like playing around with the guitar and just trying stuff, you know, learning songs online, ultimateguitar.com, fucking kind of stuff. I didn't really start playing gigs for a long time. It took a minute till I actually started like playing out, going to open mics, stuff like that.
I suppose starting with open mics. What
totally.
would your first venue show what was that like?
I think it was at the Mysteria, I'm pretty sure. There was like a skate park tribute show that I played in Beulah. That was probably like the first show I ever played. But yeah, it was kind of like a tribute for a friend who had passed years ago. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the first time I played was at the Mysteria at the One Theater in Mandan. I remember I was really nervous. I think I played a lot of covers. I don't think I played a lot of original songs. I don't remember it being too significant, honestly. I just did it and was like, oh, that was nerve-wracking. And then eventually, like, started playing shows at Rhythm, started playing more and more original music, getting to know people, making friends. Yeah, Rhythm Records was where it really, like, started rolling, for sure.
Right on.
And, like, actually meeting people and understanding where my motivations were lying, you know, getting inspired by other people and stuff. Yeah, rhythm was everything growing up. That was a huge part of it.
Where do you draw inspiration from?
Ooh, I mean, that's a big one, huh? Well, because muse is a weird thing. It's a weird one because it's kind of like a... God, there's a good way I heard it said one time. It's not my own thought. I think I heard it on like NPR or something. It was like a poem that they were reciting. Muse is like a baseball flying through the air, and like either it smacks you in the face or like someone else catches it. Oh. So you just kind of let it happen as it does. I don't know. To sound cheesy, like inspiration is all over the place if you are open to it. Mm-hmm. I'm a big... I think a lot of how I make things and write and craft is like throwing spaghetti on a wall and seeing if it sticks. which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't.
Sometimes just a big mess.
Sometimes it's a big mess, and you overcook the spaghetti, and it's sticking because it's just all starchy. I don't know. Yeah, sorry, that's not very specific. I just kind of do it. I don't know.
How about influences?
Yeah, I mentioned Neil Young earlier. That's huge for me.
Okay.
Neil Young's a huge influence. Listened to a lot of Angel Olsen growing up. You know, Beach House, freaking... You know, like, I had, like, some more, like, punk and rock influences when I was younger, but it's really, like, the folk scene that, like, got me in the guts. That really hit me growing up. And even in town, I mean, like, you know, seeing the singer-songwriters that are around... Richard was a huge influence. I remember hearing his music and seeing kids with beards and being like, "Oh, you can do that? You can just do that?" That was crazy. That was wild. Boreal Gardens, you know, again, huge influence locally. And then, you know, now I play bass with the Shaky Calls, and that's just kind of like wild to look back on, because I remember being a young kid and seeing all those guys and being like,
right.
It felt like unattainable somehow. And now we're just hanging out and being dumb and making music.
Yeah,
and
that's how it was
pretty
for
rad.
me that I think about it, because it wasn't really so much looking at Nirvana or other bands and being like, that's what I want to do. It was local artists.
Yep.
And going to shows, seeing them perform and thinking, like, you can do this?
Totally.
I can do this?
Totally.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to try. And
Yeah.
then I did. And I had a guitar handed down to me. Couldn't play, but neither can punk rockers. So I just, you just hit notes here
Just
and
do
there.
it.
Just pluck those strings and turn up the distortion. There you go.
Yep. No, same thing. I've never had like high hopes of fame and fortune, kind of
I
rock
did
star
right away.
dream.
I mean, when we started a band,
Yeah.
we're like, we're going places, man. Hell yeah.
Rolling Stone, here we come.
Yeah.
No,
Record contracts and...
It all kind of sounds like a nightmare a little bit. And maybe that's, again, bad businesswoman. I don't know. It's just fun to do.
Not so
it's
much
fun
that.
to do it.
The scene has changed.
It has.
And the game has changed
It has.
completely from what it
Absolutely.
was.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Pay for play, streams, and
Yeah.
playlists. And
Yeah.
Freaking, oh my goodness. While at the same time, it's, completely, especially as a singer-songwriter, the market is heavily oversaturated. I mean, you can scroll on your phone and find about 100 other girls like me. And they're all phenomenal, don't get me wrong. So it is more accessible than ever, but also it's hard to make music without it being like you're selling your image a little bit. Like your image is the thing that hooks and reels people in rather than the song most of the time. And I don't really like it. I don't really like it. I'd rather just write my music, have fun with it.
Right.
And that's why it's fun to just do local, And even not even just in Bismarck, but like Minot has a phenomenal scene, Fargo, even just like going a couple states over, you meet amazing people. It's just so much more fulfilling to stick with it that way, because then you're actually like involved and in the community and like being with other people. And even now, as I'm getting older, I'm not, kind of seeing the younger kids come up in the scene and like trying to like pass on what I know to them a little bit, but then also like encourage them and be like, just do it, dude. Just do it. Send it fully. Just have fun.
Yeah.
It's
really, rewarding.
It's very rewarding. It's awesome. I love to see it. I really love to see it. Like the You Name It fests that have happened the last 2 years.
Yeah.
For Record Store Day. Yeah, it's been awesome going to those, and there's a bunch of young kids that I don't know, and I'm like, yes, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Bring on the next generation, baby. I'm so ready. It's pretty awesome to see.
Any other styles or things you haven't done you want to try and do?
I mean, I would love to just like be a vocalist in a band. That honestly sounds really fun.
That does,
just
yeah.
be able to like hop around and
I would have
do
done
some
that,
crazy stuff.
but I can't sing. And I did do it a little bit as a punk band, because you don't really have to have too much talent.
Yeah, no, you just have to have like some vigor.
Energy, yes, right?
You have to be able to shotgun a Red Bull and just get up there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, there is more I'd like to do. It's been fun playing in the shaky calls because I mean, bass is really fun. I really, really like the rhythm section. Playing with Roger is really fun because he's just really intuitive and great at locking in with people.
I've never played with Roger. I've seen him play. He reminds me of Animal from the Muppets.
Okay, yeah,
Just kind of all over the place.
No, I've heard that. No, he's great. He's really good. Sometimes I'll play some of my songs with the shaky calls backing me. And he's phenomenal because I'll play just a little bit of what I'm writing and he tunes in immediately. He's really, really good at recognizing what someone's gonna do, like vocally, and kind of going along with it. It's really fun. It's just creative, dude, too. Very creative. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess I've been floating a little bit, just kind of doing a bunch of different projects. I'd like to have a little bit more ambition in what I'm doing, but I don't know. Just kind of having fun right now, I guess.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's dope. Man, if I ever get back in the music scene, right now this is kind of my project.
Yeah.
But I've been out for a few years now and have been thinking I'd like to play guitar again or bass and find a new singer. So I might have to come find you if you ever just want to be the front person.
That'd be fun. Yeah, it just sounds... because I usually have an instrument, and it just sounds kind of fun to just, like, roll around.
Yeah.
I don't know. But also that's a bit... At the same time, I'm like, oh, that's such, like, an ego thing. That I'm like, ooh, I just want to be free.
Not really. I wouldn't say it that way, but definitely can free you up, you know?
Yeah. Totally.
When I went to the concert you were talking about, the fest, everybody who performed was phenomenal. All the bands were really good. The quality is so much better than it was. And everybody is friendlier. We were saying how it was more of a competition before. Yeah. I don't know why it was, but it seemed like everybody's very supportive of each other in this day.
I've heard people talk about it that way. I think that around the time I got into the scene around here, it was community, and it was like people lifting each other up and encouraging each other. And even like from town to town, like there's a lot of collaboration happening.
Yes.
And like even between the genres of the scenes, like metal kids and folk kids and rap and all that. Everyone's kind of intermingling now. Whereas I hear people talk about it that before it really wasn't that way.
No, it wasn't. It's so much... has so much more potential now too to really grow. And I keep talking shit about our venues too, but man, I wish we could get something solid, an actual venue.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's a lot of bars.
And a lot of bars. I hate leaving out all the kids who are 18 to 20.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
It sucks.
I mean, that's why Rhythm is phenomenal. It's like the all ages place. It's
right.
The only one we have. It really is. And it's a great community spot, but also it's...
The setup is a bit awkward, though. 4 bands.
Yeah.
For the audience.
Well, and even when I was younger, there were, like, house shows going on and, like, backyard shows. And I feel like there's not as much as that happening now. And there's a part of me that's like, ooh, is it on me now? Do I have to be throwing the house shows?
You got a house?
Yeah. Me and Sonda have a place. It is kind of in a busy area, though, and we've considered it. We've thought about it. I don't know how well it would work out. I'm not sure.
How's your neighbors?
They're okay. There's like a kind of sketchy-ish apartment complex next door, and then our other neighbor. We were cool for a minute, and then like some political flags got put up, and then there were some conversations, and now we're a little less cool. He's still fine though. He's fine. Hope he does. Sorry, Tank, if you hear it. But we've had like pretty big jams like inside of our house too, But I mean, kind of what I'm getting at from that is like, it's weird of me to be like, oh, these things don't exist anymore, when like I am now the age of the people who were throwing these shows when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me that's like, oh shit, wait. There's like a lineage of like, I got to step up if I want things to happen, you know, or we got to step up if we want things to happen. Me specifically.
I want you to step up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I need some pressure on me.
Yeah.
If someone's not breathing down my neck, I might just like watch YouTube videos and rot away. No, but yeah, I mean, that's all part of like fostering community, you know, as we're seeing other kids come up in the scene, and even as I'm seeing like seasoned musicians continue and thrive who have known all this time, you know, it's all about what you put in, you know, that's how all of this happens. It's wild, really.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Do you have any shows lined up? Anything in the summer?
I have some shows with the Shaky Calls lined up. It's mostly with them, to be honest. I don't have a lot booked solo. I'm kind of picky about what I play lately, just because I've been like grinding a little bit on like figuring out what it is I'm doing.
Right, a little more focused, stepping back.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. But if I play anywhere, it'll probably be Rhythm or The Laughing Sun. Those are where I usually end up.
Okay. Do you want to share any of your socials?
Yeah. I'm Kit Pines on pretty much everything. YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud. I release a lot of random stuff on YouTube, so that's a good one to keep up with me on.
Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing you playing more, and the new iteration, if you sit and focus. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's just, sometimes I feel like I just have to talk for the sake of talking.
I'm going to come out with a weird like Tom Waits project. It's just going to be me ringing a gong and like chanting.
You know what? I'm all for it.
It'll be great.